Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I am Tamara Jean, your spiritual awakening mentor and health astrologer here on High Vibe TV. I hope you all are doing well. I know that it was a beautiful weekend here. Of course, we had Mother's Day yesterday on Sunday. Today is Monday with this very potent full moon in Scorpio, May 12th, 2025. And to all the mothers, I hope that you were cherished and loved and were able to truly receive all the love and the nourishment and everything that you deserve. So, kind of happy late Mother's Day. With this full moon in Scorpio, definitely, so we kind of, interestingly, with it being Mother's Day yesterday, leading into today with the full moon in Scorpio that happened actually this morning at 9:56 a.m. Pacific time. So this is good vibes on YouTube. And I chose it as it is their full moon video for this flower moon, which I feel is so appropriately named given all of the energy surrounding this very potent full moon. And that it is kind of nighttime, and of course the beautiful water and with Scorpio, and there's a very faint Scorpio sigil there. And also with the rocks, I feel are very even symbolic with, as we have, this is going deep. We are, and as I began to say, with celebrating Mother's Day yesterday and going into this full moon energy that is taking us into the deeper depths. And so already in a more receptive or softened state, mostly having celebrated Mother's Day yesterday, and so tuning into that divine feminine within and the receptivity, and which will allow you to go deeper. We still have the sun in that gate 23 in the throat of assimilation or communicating with clarity, and conjuncting Uranus, right? It's getting closer and closer with Uranus, which is also in the throat in gate 8 of contribution. And so what is changing, right? And the sun opposing this full moon, this flower moon. And it's interesting, the moon and the earth are both in the same gate of 43 of breakthrough. That's in the mind. What we do need to resist is to just blurt out like everything that's going on up here. And right, we want to contribute, which this is where the tension or challenge lies within the sun opposing the moon, is that you want to make you want to express, you want to voice, and getting closer with Uranus, want to contribute to want to express the ideas or things that are coming through, or perhaps that you're feeling. And all of the energies are assisting in, there is a lot of internal work with this moon and release, right? And noticing, right? Not everything has to be voiced. Right? But that's kind of the challenge with the moon also being in that breakthrough gate with the earth, but being able to feel and then in voice and really make the contribution in an expression that is supporting empowerment. Empowerment for you, empowerment for others. And with Mercury squaring Pluto, kind of brings that more mental energy into the whole process as we go deeper into a little less, kind of balance the emotions a little bit, I'm seeing, and to actually be able to see, right, not get so drowning or dwelling into the emotions, which we can certainly do, especially with the potent full moon in Scorpio, getting really deep and into the emotions, which we want to do, but we don't want to completely, or dwell in there. We also want to be able to see with clarity, to be able to heal these old patterns and things that we are ready to release, right? Such a powerful energy for releasing things. And I'm seeing like these, because Mercury is in gate, what gate is it in? 27. And this is in the gate of nourishing. And it is about balancing, like taking care of yourself to taking care of others. And so this giving and receiving balance that needs to happen. And it's being expressed through the third line, so which is really where you are learning through experience. And so in the versions of you, this is what I just kept receiving as I was just looking at all the different energies at play here, is that all of those versions of you, that those old patterns exist and operate and are running through. This is what we are releasing. So I'm seeing like being done with any kind of like people pleasing patterns, patterns that, especially in relationships where the giving and receiving was not balanced, where, appreciation was not in balance, like all of that out of balance, and it come to a place of, okay, now the boundary has to be set, and really gaining clarity on how, not healthy or not good, or restrictive or inhibitive that it has been to who you are, and perhaps your growth and moving forward and your expression. So all of the, planetary and celestial bodies really assisting in this process at this time. And I love that it's called the flower moon, because immediately, two things I thought of was, of course, how like a rosebud, right? And how it starts, so tightly closed, and then it slowly starts to open, and it's just so gorgeous, right? When it's fully in bloom and open. And then of course the story of the lotus, and how in going through, right, its whole journey of being in the muddy, unclear water, right, and growing through the mud, and then it gets to a place where it can start to see, right, from a higher perspective, and blooms into this very majestic, gorgeous flower. And So that's definitely with this energy. And so all of those versions of you, and you may feel like you're, heavier in the mud at this time. But as you remain receptive and open, right, and tuned into your emotions, and I was picking up on the energies with the transit, astrological and human design transits, of seeing an assistance in balancing the lower mental body and the emotional body, so that can gain kind of more of that psychological perspective, if you will, just in being able to, when we are able to comprehend or understand something, right, through our mental body, the emotional body feels a bit more grounded or balanced, right? And that's the key too, of being balanced between the two, because once one of those bodies is out of balance, it'll pull the other out of balance. So it just feels like there is some balance there, and to allow yourself to be in that kind of raw, vulnerable space, and allow it to work deep within you. The crystals, I was really looking into and tuning into the crystals that would be beneficial for you during this energy. And the first one that came through was Caribbean calcite. So this being it's like, being heart-shaped, so appropriate, because it really is that balance. And it has, so the striations there of being like sand and water, so like earth and water, so you're grounded, and earth holds water, and so it's very nourishing, nurturing, balancing the emotions. It's very calming. And then pre-night, this beautiful tower that I actually received from one of our high vibers, Louise. I love this tower, and it is very healing. It's physically healing, but also it helps with emotional balance and personal power. Because remember, with Pluto being retrograde, you now may be picking up on, with this energy, of where you have not been in your power, and it is bringing you to a place to be able to step into that for yourself. And this can certainly help. So this is sodalite, and this is a crystal for Scorpio, and it is, it's third eye stone. So it helps bring clarity and truth and perception, right? So being able to see all sides. And this is where Venus is in the current human design transit in the mind in gate 17, of being able to see all sides of the story, wanting to have things fair and balanced. And so being able to have that at full perspective, right? And that's kind of part in tuning into the story of the lotus, right? Being above the water. And so connecting with higher self. So perhaps I would do both 396 hertz. There's no frequencies specifically woven into this particular video, but I would recommend using 396 hertz, which is the root center solfeggio frequency that assists in the liberation from fear, guilt, shame, judgment. And then 963, which is the solfeggio frequency for the crown, assisting in that connection with higher self and, right, your divine mind, higher planes of consciousness. I think having both ends of the spectrum being stimulated, activated to be able to bring clarity to those, to any issues, patterns, because we really hold our patterns, with all of this energy, this definitely root center, and the earth star below our feet it holds the energetic patterns and DNA codes. So I would also tune in to that center as well, and look to see if it is cloudy or needing, right, cleansing. So an oil, grab this one here, peppermint. So this is the oil of a buoyant heart, so that helping to open yourself up to possibility, which is nice to have as the sun moves closer and gaining a stronger conjunction with Uranus, right, over these next few days, that gaining or opening up to possibilities and what can be possible for you, right? And aligned, they just keep flying out. It's birch that flew down on the floor. Birch is an amazing oil that really supports your foundation and helping you to stand firm in your decisions and pursue the path that you are feeling called, right? So all of, whether it's people or your own issues, self, that have kept you, make you, whether, dimming your light, whether it was someone outside of you or you yourself because of this pattern within you, that keeping yourself small or dimming to fit in, all of those different patterns that a lot of us have or experience. And now is the energy and the time to release that. I've got Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, I thought was appropriate for this energy, because it is definitely, right, in the deeper depths that you can gain so much wisdom. Also, I'm wearing labradorite. I've got labradorite on, and these earrings have Herkimer diamond with the labradorite, and will assist also third eye in moving between realms and to see the unseen. Snowflake obsidian is also really great for that as well. The Chess Queen, trust and strategizing. Right, so I feel like trusting, you really have to gain, and this is card 30. So the divine source, your divine team, and the divinity within you, right? Your master self, your God and soul intelligence within you is calling you forth in rising up into your power. And you can view it as your queen self, your king self, right? Emperor, empress, high priestess, high priest, that next version of you, and that, really integrating more of your higher self into your conscious awareness is what I am seeing, and trusting that. And so entrusting your inner authority, right? And also your strategy. And then taking action on the steps. And right now, this is, very much about releasing. So even taking the action, making decisions on releasing all of those old patterns, or it could be people, right? Particular relationships, or setting that boundary, or what action steps you are now taking, right, to step into your power. The Ice Queen. To some, it may feel like an ice queen. This is about, it's interesting, it's non-action, right? So you are in this energy as you're emptying out, because with the new moon in 2 weeks, we know that's the time to plant the seeds. And so as you are releasing and you're in process, as the moon is waning, right? And there is strategy, but I would say, making a decision that is still taking an action. And the Ice Queen, ideas preserved, non-action. So as things are coming in, you gain these flashes of insight as the sun gets closer with Uranus, and these different flashes of insight come in. Right now, I said you may not speak everything that is going on up here, because it's not time yet. Definitely take the time for yourself. And the Spirit Whisperer, divine guidance, higher knowing. Right, so confirmation of that, connecting into the divine intelligence within you. These are cards 28 and 3. So definitely listening into that master within and the divinity within you, and following through. You're entering into, right? You're in process now of the release. You're going to be entering into a whole new expression of you, and up-leveling and rising to that next level. So use this energy wisely, as you will be able to tune in and tap in to the truth. Be able to see, like I'm seeing the owl come through and pierce through illusions, conditions, projected beliefs from others. And this can be individual and personal, and in your personal environment, to also collective. And just being able to now really see things in a different way, and releasing attachment patterns, including the version of you that runs those patterns, and therefore the timelines corresponding to that version, right? All of that release and collapse. And so to allow yourself the space as the moon continues to wane, and to utilize the earth and the element of water, and to write these things down that you want to release. Place the paper in water, submerge it, watch the ink begin to run and lift off the paper, and then release it into the earth, and you can have the paper sit in the water for as long as, for a couple days, and you can bury it in the earth and pouring the water there. And that is, like, I'm seeing like a water element, like a diva, and she is and I'm hearing to do this at night. So perhaps this evening with the moon out. Here it's cloudy actually, and it's interesting. We're actually kind of experiencing spring here in at least in Northern California, which seems like it's been years. Gone from winter into summer, it seems, for a lot of years now. So it's actually kind of cool and cloudy at the moment with some showers. So I don't know if I'll be able to see the moon tonight, but doing that with the light of the moon, very feeling being attuned with like the dark goddess and allowing her to assist you in your process and going deep so that you are able to be a true alchemist and fully alchemize that energy, changing the frequency to one of power within you and that strength, and returning it to a state of wholeness, balance, and harmony within you and your field. Let's see if there is anything else. That feels complete. So I hope you all have experienced amazing full moon blessings, and that this process is beautiful, healing, and empowering experience for you to rise to the next level. And I will see you next time.